Night falls, though here night is only a thinner shade of smoke, pierced by the red glow of distant fires. The guardsmen huddle in their trenches, laser guns clutched tight as if the weight of the weapon alone could keep the darkness at bay. Sleep is rationed more tightly than food, stolen in ragged fragments between bombardments. Some dream of home, though home has already grown distant in their minds, a place blurred by memory and doubt. Others dream of nothing at all, their minds emptied by exhaustion, their bodies moving only when the sergeant's bark or the commissar's shot compels them. The ground shakes without pause, a constant reminder that the war never sleeps. Even in the quietest hours, when the artillery momentarily falls silent, the guardsmen can hear the enemy across the wastes. Guttural roars, mechanical grinding, alien screeches. The sounds vary with each foe, but all carry the same truth. There will be no respite, no truce, no mercy. The Guard does not fight battles that end. They endure wars that stretch until flesh and steel alike are spent. Rumors spread among the men like smoke drifting through the trenches. Some whisper that reinforcements are coming, entire regiments fresh from Terra itself, clad in armor and glory. Others speak of a counterattack so devastating it will shatter the enemy line and carry them all to victory. These rumors are lies, of course, but they are repeated all the same, because lies are kinder than silence. A man can live a day longer on hope, even false hope, and in the Guard, a single day is no small victory. But not all whispers offer comfort. Some speak of regiments abandoned, left to bleed dry because the High Command deemed the world unworthy of saving. Others tell of whole companies marched into killing fields simply to delay the enemy for a few more hours. The veterans never confirm nor deny these tales, but their silence is damning. They know the truth, though they do not voice it. The Imperium does not measure victory in lives saved, but in enemies slowed. The march itself becomes a ghostly thing. Orders arrive, and the guardsmen move as commanded. But their steps are no longer their own. They do not walk. They are carried by duty, by fear, by the iron weight of the commissar's pistol at their backs. The line shifts, trenches are abandoned and dug anew, positions are gained and lost, but the guardsmen themselves feel no progress. To them, the war is not a line on a map. It is a circle, endless, dragging them down into mud and memory, until they are no longer sure if they are moving forward or simply sinking deeper. And yet, despite the despair, the Guard holds. This is their curse and their strength. No matter how many fall, no matter how many scream and vanish into the dark, the line endures. When the enemy breaks upon them, they fire until their power packs glow red hot. When ammunition fails, they fix bayonets and fight until their arms are torn from their bodies. When the order comes to advance, they rise from the trenches and march once more into the storm. Each step, each heartbeat, each scream swallowed by the mud is a prayer in itself. A prayer not for survival, for that is too much to ask, but for meaning. That their deaths will serve some purpose beyond feeding the soil. That their names, forgotten by the galaxy, will at least echo for a moment in the Emperor's eternal light. The march goes on. It always goes on. Dawn does not arrive as it once did, with light and warmth. Here, dawn is a flare in the distance, the shriek of another bombardment, the hiss of Promethium igniting a ruin. The guardsmen rise because they are told to rise, their bones aching from the damp, their eyes burning from smoke that never clears. The air tastes of rust and chemicals, each breath a reminder that the world itself has turned against them. Even silence has been conquered. Every pause in the shelling only sharpens the anticipation of the next strike. They move into position as the officers bark orders down the line, and once again the march resumes. The enemy waits across the wasteland, unseen but felt, a pressure in the air, a presence in every shadow. The guardsmen climb from the trench as a unit, though each man feels utterly alone, his heart hammering against the thin shell of his flak vest. They step into the churned earth, into a no-man's land littered with corpses half swallowed by mud, their faces staring blankly skyward, as if still pleading for salvation that never came. Lasgun fire cuts the smoke, bright streaks of red swallowed quickly by the void. The guard moves forward, their boots sinking, their weapons shuddering in their hands. Some stumble over the bodies of fallen comrades, and in the chaos there is no time to mourn, no space to carry the dead. The living march over the fallen, the line pressing onward because it must, because to halt is to shatter, and shattered lines mean death for all. Amidst the charge, voices rise in fractured hymns, prayers shouted into the storm. One cries out to the Emperor for strength, another begs forgiveness for sins he barely remembers. Another curses the enemy with every breath. Their words mingle with the roar of weapons and the screams of the dying, a liturgy of desperation. Whether the Emperor hears them or not, none can say. But the act of speaking is enough to carry them one step further. The charge ends as they always do, with the line broken, scattered, pulled back into the trenches. The survivors collapse once more into the mud, their hands trembling, their faces blank. A few laugh, hollow sounds that carry no mirth. Others weep silently, their tears lost in the grime. The commissar walks among them, his boots clean despite the filth, his eyes searching for weakness. None dare meet his gaze. None dare falter. And so the cycle repeats. March, fire, fall, rise again. The world becomes a rhythm of destruction, an endless hymn sung in last bolts and blood. The guardsmen endure not because they believe in victory, but because endurance itself is demanded of them. In this, the guard finds its grim purpose, not to conquer, not to triumph, but simply to hold, to stand as the Imperium's wall against the tide. The mud remembers. The march never ends. And as the guardsmen sink deeper into both, they begin to understand that survival is not measured in years or months or even days. It is measured in the space between each heartbeat, in the fragile moment before the next shell lands, in the breath stolen before the next order comes. The march is eternal, and so long as they live, they will walk it.